Hello, this is Nicastro. I'm the Commissioner of Education, and it's my pleasure to visit with you today. I have a couple things I'd like to visit about in this session. First is our International Education Summit that we held a few weeks ago. I was very pleased to see over 100 people attend that particular summit. If you get a chance, you might want to check the link out on our website. We had some great panelists and some great remarks that were made during that event. Particularly interesting, I think, were the exchanges that occurred between students here in Missouri and students in foreign countries. Those kinds of opportunities are things that any school district can do with today's technology. And it provides a real link for kids across the world that I think helps them understand different cultures and really develop an appreciation for how important it is to be globally aware and globally competitive. I would encourage you to check those things out. It was a great summit. We hope to repeat that in future years. And we hope to really provide more opportunities for all of us to learn more about our international education partners around the world. I also want to mention that last week I had the privilege of visiting with a number of middle school students from China. We had some visitors from Beijing, and they were here to look at our capital, to visit with students in some of the middle schools in mid-Missouri, and to put on a performance at the University of Missouri. The kids were delightful, as middle school students always are, and it was a great opportunity for me to get to hear from them. I was so impressed with their knowledge about American schools and their grasp of the English language. I told them that I think their English in some ways was better than some of us, but they were really delightful kids. What I was particularly interested in was their discussion about homework. They said that they have anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of homework a night, and they were very interested in knowing how much homework middle school kids had in the United States. I told them I didn't think it was approaching 6 to 8 hours, and that perhaps that might be a little excessive. So we all agreed that maybe meeting in the middle would be a good strategy for all of us to consider. The second thing I want to talk about, of course, is the legislative session. This may not be such a positive topic as the kids from Beijing, but certainly it's something that we're dealing with a great deal right now. The legislative session is going to be very difficult. I've mentioned before that the folks who serve us in the legislature are going to have a really tough time this year trying to balance our budget. We're very pleased, of course, with the governor's recommendation for funding for the formula. I think it demonstrates clearly that the governor, and I know that our legislative leaders also share our passion for K-12 education as a priority. Having said that, I think that we need to understand that there is a price for that kind of priority. All the other programs in state government that are very important as well, particularly higher education, are suffering because of the budget cuts that are coming. I think it's important for all of us to be sensitive to that. We're all going to have to do our part, just as our legislature is going to have to do theirs. Chief among the topics that the legislature is dealing with this year, of course, have to do with formula reform. We all know that the formula is broken, that it was never intended to be less than fully funded. And finding a fix for that formula this year is going to be a priority for many of our legislative leaders. The department is working closely with the staff in the legislature and others to try to provide the information and the background knowledge that is necessary to do the right thing for the most districts. I think there's no question that there is no easy answer to this. Every district is either a winner or a loser, depending on the plan that you advance. Our approach has been to look for the plan that advantages the most districts the most. We want, I guess, to do no harm, if you will, in this year's formula fix, and we hope that we can come up with that solution. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Esea Waiver. I think by now all of you, I hope, know that we are looking at submitting a waiver to the No Child Left Behind law to the Department of Education. We've had several drafts of that waiver out for review, and I very much appreciate all of the feedback and the input that you've been sending to us. You should see draft number 3 out for comment and for additional feedback around the 1st of February. And we're hoping that you will continue to weigh in as we advance new documents. This week, we actually had technical assistance meetings with the Department of Education and with members from the Council of Chief State School Officers to look at our actual waiver and to give us suggestions about things that we needed to change or amend or add to in order to be more clear about Missouri's plan. As I've said before, this is Missouri's plan. It is our intention to submit a plan that reflects the accountability system that Missouri has had in place for 20 years and that we've been continuing to improve each and every time we've revised MSIP. It is not our intent to put the federal agenda as our top priority. While we hope to meet their requirements, we will not do that at the expense of Missouri accountability standards and the values that we share with our constituents. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll continue to try to keep you informed about what's going on here in Jefferson City. I appreciate what each and every one of you are doing each day. I know your challenges in your district are also very strong these days. I know that you too are struggling with trying to make ends meet. I appreciate your efforts on the part of Missouri's kids. Thanks.